وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, O you who believe, fear Allah as He should be feared and have taqwa in Him, and die not except in a state of Islam. Now, brothers and sisters, as we gather here on the first Friday of this blessed month of Ramadan, a month of blessings, a month of forgiveness, and a month of growth, it's important to focus on one of the main goals we have in this month, which is to become better Muslims, right? We always hear that every month, every year, when we go into Ramadan, we just want to be better Muslims, become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now that begs the question though, what is a good Muslim? Or what does it mean to be a good Muslim? What are the attributes or the qualities of a good Muslim? And that's what we'll be focusing on for today's khutbah, inshallah. And now there are many qualities and attributes of a good Muslim. There's hundreds. You could go on for days talking about them. For today, inshallah, we'll be focusing on three very important ones. Those three being honesty, humility, and discipline. And they're very relevant, specifically in regards to this month of Ramadan and how we could do our best to improve on these qualities. Now, the first one we said was honesty. Now, honesty is a quality that we're told time and time again, since we were kids, always be honest, don't lie, tell the truth, all these things. But sometimes, we don't always have that quality, or we don't always show that quality to the best of our abilities. Even though we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us directly in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu attaqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqeen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly tells us, O you who believe, fear Allah and be of those who are truthful. And there are many other verses in the Quran that tell us to be truthful. And this doesn't only mean to be honest when we're through our actions, right? There's simple honesty in just not lying, but there's also honesty in how we treat others and how we act. Are we people who cheat others? Do we tell someone, oh, I'm going to do this, I got you, I'll take care of this, and you don't do it, and you don't fulfill your promises? These are examples of us not showing that honesty. So it's important to always keep that in mind. And we learned from our best example, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who was nicknamed the Sadiq al-Amin, the most honest and trustworthy one, even by his own enemies. Abu Jahl, one of the biggest enemies of Islam, even he couldn't kind of call the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ a liar. He himself admitted that, he'll call him crazy and everything else, but he couldn't call him a lie. So imagine you have someone's enemy, an enemy attesting to to your character. Some of us, or if we asked our friends how honest we are, they might not be able to tell us, give us the best answer. And the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us that we must be truthful, and verily truthfulness leads to righteousness, and righteousness leads to paradise. And on the flip side, he also says that falsehood leads to wickedness, and wickedness leads to hellfire. So what's important to know is that he's mentioning that it all starts with honesty. Honesty is such an important part of our character, of what makes us good Muslims, because that's what kind of shows your sincerity and ikhlas towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you are honest with how you deal with people, with the words you say, when you don't lie, these are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands upon us. And this is the trait of all the prophets. They were all known, or they were renowned for their honesty. And it's important for us to do our best in this Ramadan, in this month of Ramadan, to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always watching us, and to have that greater sense of awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to be as honest as we can, and to make sure that this is a quality that we really focus on in this month. Now, also from the dunya sense, honesty, we know the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in a dunya sense, people, you never want to be a friend with a person who's constantly lying, where you can't trust the word that comes out of their mouth, or a person that you can't count on. They'll say that they're going to do something for you, but they just they flake on their promises. From a dunya sense, honesty helps you both in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the most important, but also in your daily lives. Being honest will take you a long, long way in this life, through your relationships, in your work, in your school, anything. Honesty is one of those qualities that every single Muslim should have and perfect and do their best to stay true to. Now, the next quality is the quality of humility. Now, as humans, we tend to get caught up in in the blessings that we have, in the gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, whether it's our strength, our intelligence, our wealth, any of these things, these blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gives us a lot of these blessings as a test, right? We're not saying these blessings are bad. If you're wealthy, this is bad, but it's how we act once we have those blessings. Humility, it's one of those things that we should, it's about basically not having arrogance towards other people, not looking down on other people. And the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us in a hadith, he says, لا يدخل الجنة من في قلبه مثقال ذرة كبر. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he tells us that a person will not enter Jannah even so that they have an atom's weight, a speck of arrogance in their heart. And the Prophet ﷺ, he's trying to show us how heavy arrogance is, which is the opposite of humility, as how heavy it is as a sin for us. And the opposite of that, practicing humility, it doesn't only mean to humble yourself to other people. For example, don't look down on other people, or say that, oh, I'm better than this person in the gym or in school, or I got, wealth-wise, all these things. We should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our blessings, and always remember who gave them to us in the first place, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in keeping this in mind, there's another way we could also look at humility, which is even more important, which is our humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And especially in this month, as we know, it's a month of forgiveness, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens his doors far and wide, even more than they already are open. He opens his doors of forgiveness in this month specifically. So we should take advantage of it and humble ourselves to know that we, look back on this year that you had. Look back at the bad habits you've been doing, that I say this to myself first, think of the things that you've been doing, and it takes humility to understand, to realize sometimes when we're in the wrong, whether it's dealing with our own people or with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is even more important. It takes humility to recognize when we are wrong, when we're sinning, and when we should turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the beautiful thing about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that his doors and his arms are always open for us to turn to him. So long as we are alive, the doors of forgiveness are always open. All it takes is for us to have that humility, to take that step to understand that when we are wrong, and to know that we should bow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for his forgiveness sincerely. And this quality of humility, like we said, also the Prophet ﷺ had it, and all the other prophets had a level of this. And this is not to be confused with, not being confident. Obviously, you should be confident and have, strength in yourself. But humility, always keep that balance and never fall into arrogance. After all, the shaitan, what his main sin that started everything was his arrogance. He chose to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala due to his arrogance. He thought that he was better than Adam alayhi salam. when Allah directly commanded him, he refused to. He said, "No, I'm better. Like, why would I do that? I'm better than him. You created me from fire. You created him from mud." His arrogance. That's how heavy the sin of arrogance is. Therefore, we should do our best to kind of be on the flip side and practice humility to the best of our abilities. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us throughout the Quran many times, وَلَا تَمْشِ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا. Don't walk this earth, arrogantly and looking down upon other people. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly telling us multiple times, showing us how humility is the character is the quality of a good Muslim. And now the third quality for today is the quality of discipline or self-control. And especially in this month of Ramadan, it's almost the perfect time to practice our discipline and self-control. In this month, we are told, to pray more, to fast, abstain from things that are normally halal. Eating and drinking right now, we could normally be eating and drinking on a regular day. There's nothing haram about it. But in Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tests us by making things that are so important to our basic survival, like food and water. He makes these things temporarily haram. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's trying to show us that in this month, we could discipline ourselves to abstain from these things, to hold ourselves more accountable, to be better Muslims. So through this month, we could practice our discipline to the best of our abilities as we could abstain from other things. So Allah's showing us that if we could be disciplined enough to stay away from food and water, imagine how disciplined you could be to stay away from other things that you don't really need, to things that are actually bad for you, to bad habits or sins that we're committing. Allah's showing us that we are much stronger and more capable than we think. And so this quality of self-control and discipline is also a very important quality of the Muslim, as this is what drives them to come to Taraweeh every night, to wake up early in the morning and pray Fajr. It's not always easy. Sometimes your nafs is telling you, I don't want to wake up. I can't be bothered. I'm tired. I'm hungry, But the discipline that a good Muslim has, that's what pushes them to wake up to pray Fajr and to come to the masjid, even when they're busy, even when they're tired and not feeling it. The discipline is what drives them to continue to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to continue to deal with their brothers and sisters in Islam in the best ways possible. وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله ولكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم أما بعد. My brothers and sisters, let's do our best to take advantage of this month and to capitalize on these three qualities, to grow them. Alhamdulillah, you just being here already shows that you already have many qualities of a good Muslim. Alhamdulillah, we all have these qualities of good Muslims. However, sometimes we may be lacking in some of them. Perhaps I'm very disciplined, but I'm lacking in my humility. So take this time, this blessed month of Ramadan, to do your best to work on the qualities that make a good Muslim, whether it be the ones we discussed today or in general. Like we said, there are countless other ones. We should do our best to take this time in this month when we're not being influenced by shaitan. This is our time, kind of a practice, right? A whole month's training of increasing our good deeds, of increasing our qualities that make us good Muslims, and to do our best. Tell yourself basically when your nafs doesn't want to do these things, right? There will be times where your nafs doesn't want you to be honest, where it thinks lying or cheating someone is the easy way out. There will be times when your nafs is telling you, why should I be humble? Like, why should I be humble? I'm better than this. I'm stronger than this person. I could bench more. I have better grades. I have more money. Your nafs will tell you these things. It will tell you, when you're waking up early in the morning, it'll tell you, like, why do I gotta wake up? Just sleep. Like your nafs, you'll have those inner thoughts and those feelings. However, it is our job as Muslims to do our best, especially in this month, to take advantage of it, to train ourselves in these qualities, in our honesty, in our humility, in our discipline. And with that, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to get the most out of this Ramadan. I ask Allah to make us of those who have these righteous qualities. Allahumma taqabbal minna Ramadan. Allahumma taqabbal siyamana wa qiyamana wa ruku'ana wa sujudana. Allahumma aghfir lana وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا وتجاوز عن سيئاتنا. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من عذاب القبر. اللهم إنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم لا تجعلنا من الخاسرين. اللهم اجعلنا من المحسنين ومن المتقين ومن الصالحين ومن الصادقين ومن عبادك الصالحين. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.